Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of our cancer journey. We're just gonna pop up some pictures on screen and talk about them briefly. Alright, so the first picture is this one. And this is February of 2023. That was the year he got diagnosed. And this is a family trip that we were taking the kids on as a celebration. And yeah, completely clueless as to what was coming.
We headed off to Cuba and enjoyed some family time. Very oblivious.
Surreal to think back that after you got diagnosed, that was always a weird thing for me to look back and if only those people knew. Probably a good thing we didn't know, actually. The next one is this one. And this is an adventure that we tried this summer before the fall that Grant got diagnosed. And it was a milk cow. And these are just some of the things that we're trying in life. These are just pictures to kind of show what our life was like before it got flipped upside down. Yeah, this is just Grant helping his milk cow with her new calf. Figuring all that out. We had pigs for a little while. We had the milk cow, we had beef cows, we had horses.
I think the first year that we got pigs was the year that I got sick as well. So the milk cow was the same year as the two pigs.
That's right.
So
yeah, we had them when you got sick.
Yeah.
We also farmed, grain farm on the side, like we mentioned in our introduction video. Yeah, we're always very much wanting to give us the best life possible. And yeah, provide us with lots of opportunities and kids with a great, lifestyle.
And definitely having a milk cow, there was a lot of prayer and a lot of reaching out and perseverance. Asking God to give us the strength and all the things we needed.
But anyway, we were having this life, busy but in a good way, and trusting that we were on the path that God was leading us on at that time, and no thought of that changing suddenly at all. And then one day we were, I think it was in like September, all of a sudden a flu hit our house, and the kids all got really sick, and then Grant got really sick, and the kids were over it, I think, and Grant just wouldn't let go. I think it was 2 weeks of coughing, headache, really bad headaches, like you couldn't even walk. I remember that.
Yeah, it just kept getting worse.
Yeah. And what other symptoms did you have? Oh yeah, you had the fevers, sweats, and chills. So he would get really hot and soak sheets, and then get freezing cold and be like shivering. And yeah, his cough was really bad though, and it was a couple weeks of him just feeling unwell like that before I was like, okay, I think this turned into pneumonia.
Felt like somebody was sitting on my chest, and very hard to breathe, heavy.
And that's what this next picture is of, just him when he's sick. We weren't suspecting anything other than at the worst like pneumonia. And I was putting like mustard packs on you.
That's right.
I was doing some home remedies of how to like help with a bad chest cold or whatever, and it was like a mustard pack anyway, and I was doing that like twice a day, and I think I made it so strong one time I even burnt your skin a little bit. But anyway, so we just like, okay, we just gotta go to the hospital. And that was what we did, and I went with him, and they took blood, routine, listened to your chest and stuff, and once they saw his blood, they pretty much just ignored everything else. Like they weren't concerned about your cough, your chest, or anything. They didn't even take x-rays. They just came back and
Took more blood.
took more blood.
Mm-hmm.
And
then went away for a while.
And then went away for a while. And then came back.
And took more blood.
Took more blood. And every time they came back, their faces were a little more worried.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, this isn't a normal pneumonia type checkup.
Yeah.
And Grant, in his usual way, was trying to joke with the nurses because he knew them too. So he was trying to tease them and, teasing them that they didn't do their job right the first time or whatever. It's like, how come you have to come back 3 times? And they were just like, you could tell that they were
There was
worried.
concern.
Yeah. Their eyes they were trying to laugh at the jokes, but their eyes were kind of showing that they were concerned. So they came and told him that his blood numbers were all lower than they were supposed to be, and there was stuff in his blood that shouldn't be there. And at that time, we didn't know what that meant, but now we know that that is almost always a for sure sign of leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew, I think, but they couldn't say it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was kind of where this whole thing started. Just went to the hospital thinking it was pneumonia and left there realizing it was probably a little more serious than that.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us to come home and that we would be hearing from a doctor in the city, a specialist, soon.
And then they said we had an appointment 2 days later that we had to go into the hospital and have a Zoom meeting with the doctor.
Yeah, and she was confused because she thought we were coming in to the city to see her, and she was going to do a bone marrow biopsy at that time, but somehow the message got crossed and we ended up just doing a Zoom meeting with her. And so but he was feeling a little better, and so she was kind of thinking, well, maybe his numbers were just being low because he was fighting a really bad flu, and so she didn't seem as concerned as she had been. So she sent us home and said they were going to do more blood tests because it was like 4 days now or something later.
I thought it was 2 days.
Maybe it was just 2 days. So they said, you know what, we'll just send you for more blood tests and you just go home and we'll go from there. So they did more blood tests, and I guess they were even worse because they called you right away and said, I think they actually mentioned leukemia at that point then. And they're like, we want to admit you to Health Science Center, and as soon as we have a bed available, we want you in there.
So pack your bags.
And be ready. So as soon as we call you, you can be in. So we had pretty much that evening to tell our kids that their dad had leukemia. And we immediately, my first thought was I wanted to get all the family and the elders in our church to come and lay hands on him and pray, because I do believe in the power of prayer and just asking God for help in every situation. So we did that evening too. We found out he had leukemia. We had a little meeting with the kids, and then we went to my parents' house, and a whole bunch of people gathered there, and we all prayed for Grant that night and laid hands on him, and that was a really good time actually.
Very
and I think
uplifting
it really,
and strengthening.
Helped calm my nerves, and the kids actually handled it very well. All the older ones just kind of accepted it right away and knew it was serious. I don't know if they knew fully how serious it was at that time, but and our youngest, he cried a little bit, but then he was just happy after that it wasn't a heart attack. Yeah, because he thought this was better than having heart problems. So we definitely let him believe that for a little while. So what were you feeling when you heard that you had leukemia?
You remember thinking, well, this is serious. This could have potential serious impacts on my family, and I may not make it. So I don't think scared is the right word, but concerned, I guess. Yeah, mostly for my kids, not being around anymore, them not having a dad.
So your initial thoughts were for your family more than scared for yourself.
Yeah. And what I knew of at the time of chemo and cancer, I don't know if I knew anybody that survived cancer at the time, and so it was almost like a death sentence, being told you have cancer, and that's what you believe, or that's what you think, and that's what you know. And so immediately I was concerned that my kids won't have a dad and my wife won't have a husband anymore. But I get to go to heaven. So that was
where your mindset was.
Yeah, where my mindset was, I guess. More a concern. I wasn't excited that I was leaving and going to heaven, but I wasn't afraid of death. So that's what my initial thought was.
So you right away thought your chances that you were going to die?
Yeah.
I guess I knew that the chances were pretty high too, because it's leukemia. We learned a lot about leukemia through all of this, and that there's many different kinds of leukemia. And we'll talk a little bit more about the kind Grant has in our next episode.
What were your initial thoughts when we found out that I had cancer?
I was in shock, actually. I don't know if I thought too much other than, I can't believe this is happening. I didn't think past that too much. I definitely knew we needed to pray. Like, this was serious. This was an emergency. That's why I almost immediately was like, can everybody just come and pray? Because I definitely knew God had to intervene. We definitely were going to need God. Either physically or spiritually or emotionally. It was going to be tough. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I think I was definitely in shock and emotional. You never really ever got emotional. You were just like this. You're like, oh, yep, I have leukemia, and I was the one I had to go and cry in the garage. Remember that? Right after we got off the phone with the doctor.
Yeah.
And the kids, I was like, we have to tell the kids, because we had literally the rest of that day to tell them and pack and be ready to go to the hospital. That was how fast everything happened. And so we couldn't just ease them into it. So I was like, well, I can't, I was too emotional in that moment. So I had to go in the garage and have a little cry and get myself under control a little bit. And
then I think I called the kids in.
You had to call them. You had to talk to them because I couldn't talk. What was your theme verse? Every day in the hospital, we wrote a verse on the board that helped us kind of focus on God and the hope we have in Him. And so every episode, maybe we'll share one of those verses with you guys. But maybe just for today, we'll just share Grant's theme verse that it ended up being his theme verse, because it was the one that just kept coming up to him over and over again in different ways throughout this process. Somebody would send it to him as encouragement. It was on his Bible cover. It was on a special blanket that we'll probably talk about in one episode. It was somebody would come and signed our guest thing at the hospital and wrote that verse. It was just over and over and over and over again. It was ended up being your theme verse because God just wasn't letting you forget about it.
So yeah, the verse is Joshua 1:9, and it says, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." There were obviously some concerning, moments, but I was never afraid for the outcome. I knew that whatever the Lord's will was, it would be done. I do feel that this was a big part of God's plan for our lives. I think there's so many so many moments in our lives that shape us into who we are in Christ, and this was definitely a big moment of that. Mm-hmm.
Our world got turned upside down in like one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what this video is about, and next time we'll share a little more about our first couple days in the hospital and how those were and what all happened in there. And yeah, so join us if you want, find out more of our story.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, see you next week.
See you.